right. Hello, everybody. Sorry for the bit of a late start. I hope the sound volume is okay, because, you know, it's on that click off stream. But hello and welcome to the stream. Void Dweller, Wyclepad, Owe, and Zarmagus. Last time on Remember 11, we ran into Kokoro, our heroine, who has been caught up in several increasingly horrible predicaments. First, she was in a plane crash. Then she found herself trapped in this like remote mountain area with freaking Genocide Jack from Danganronpa, and now she find out that she's trapped in the body of Satoru from the beginning. It's like, holy fuck, God. I can't imagine her mental processes right now. Oh my God. So, one thing I'm wondering, could she possibly be a being like Blickwinkle, except she forgot she was or something? No, I'm really wondering that. If she's actually like a Blickwinkle who forgot, oh, no, Void Dweller. Owe and I were discussing something before the stream started. And, that's one of my current theories. Either that or Satoru somehow saved her. Like, took her place in death. In a way, like, I don't know. Oh, hello, Victor. Welcome to the stream. So, with that as it is, let's get back into it. I said load. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, okay. That was weird. How did that happen? Okay. Well, my save file's still here. Alright, now let's get back into it. I don't know if that's a quick load, but okay, let's see. I was forcibly dragged back into reality, bursting out of the empty space. Without enough time to give him a baby's first cry, I was born into a new world. Where is this? Kokoro Doko, yep. In front of me was a small square glass window. The open palm of my right hand was pressed tight against the glass. Interesting, so clicking on the window doesn't do anything, but only if I click on the message box. I lowered my palm from the window. A palm print remained clearly visible on its cloudy white surface. I wiped it off with my sleeve and a familiar image appeared. Wait, what?! What the fuck?! Oh my God, is she jumping between timelines or something? Me. It's me! I felt dazed, my head was cloudy. However, I could clearly understand that the image reflected in that window pane was my own. Jesus Louises Creases. It's the same face I've had for 20 years now. There's no way I could be mistaken. Hello, Relast. Welcome to the stream. As soon as I realized that, the haze in my head immediately disappeared. I looked down, checked my clothes, looked at my palms, and stared at the backs of my hands for a few moments. The fingers of both my hands traced the contours of my face, felt the texture of my skin, and ran through my hair, checking its length on the way through. Sprang up and down. Hello, Relast. Welcome to the stream. Hello, Angry Sam. Welcome to the stream. A lot of new people, Shay. There were dull pains in my neck and hip, but it wasn't all that bad compared to the pain I had felt before. stretch my arms out as wide as I can. I take a series of deep breaths and start speaking out loud. I see, so it was all a dream. Oh, thank God. Oh, God, I was not prepared to be living in the body of a guy with a serial killer in a fucking house. Oh, my God. Even though it was just a dream, I somehow felt really happy to be back in my own body again. I cast another glance at my reflection, then turned my head. Who the fuck are you? Before me were the figures of an unfamiliar man and woman. The words I'd blurted in surprise hung in the silent air. I suddenly felt very awkward and gave a slight shrug. The source of the awkwardness was the words that had come out of my mouth earlier. I didn't stop to think I might not be the only person in the room. Mumbling these meaningless words, I tried fruitlessly to relieve the tension of the moment, while at the same time attempting to analyze the situation I found myself in. A lot of people have Angry Sam. He does kind of look like Okabe. First of all, where am I? As I took a look around, I could see that everything, including the roof, the floor, and the walls, was made out of wood. A lot less nice of a place than Satoru was in. From where I stood, I could see a double bunk bed to the right and a doorway to the left. Near the wall across the room stood a wooden table, along with a few simple chairs made from chopped logs. By the wall beside me was a rustic stove made out of old oil barrels. I could hear a crackling sound, most probably produced by the red-hot logs burning inside the stove. Cumulus clouds of white steam rose from the tin kettle placed upon the stove. Considering how large the double bunk bed was, the floor of the room would have probably fit 12 tatami mats. It may have actually been one tatami larger, but the window embedded in the wall was so tiny, it made the room feel rather cramped. A mountain hut? I couldn't think of any other possibilities. I looked out the window to make sure. There was only the featureless, depthless darkness, spread out as far as the eye could see. There wasn't anything that could provide me with a clue. It wasn't that I couldn't see anything. Snow. My eyes were searching the scenery for more clues, but all they could see was the powdery snow dancing violently in the frozen darkness, like pampas grass in the wind. Crystals of ice decorated the edges of the window. These scant clues didn't give me any idea of where we were. But this is definitely no Southern Island paradise. Then it hit me. The cold. And it wasn't just your average everyday cold. This was advanced cold. My body was freezing to its core, enough to make me want to hug the barrel stove beside me. Hello, T. Welcome to the stream.
Hey, what's wrong?
The voice made me turn around. The man looked worried as he watched over me.
You alright?
I'm alright wasn't something I could honestly say. Being suddenly seized by this freezing cold, with two completely unfamiliar people in front of me. Just who were these people? I have never even heard of minty Coke. Oh, but I hate mint flavor anyway, so I would never want to try that. Mint belongs in toothpaste only, in my opinion. The man in front of me wore a hooded jacket. His short-trimmed hair had casually fallen into disorder. There was a sparse amount of stubble growing around his mouth and chin, and his prominent cheekbones gave him a dauntless appearance. His body was in good shape. His figure was trim. Oh, you think he's hot? A little bit, I guess. I think I need to see his sprite before I can judge that, because this CG is looking a teensy bit wonky. Probably just a lighting thing they're doing. That being said, by no means was he thin. The muscles on his shoulders and chest were toned to the degree that their contours are... Damn, she is thirsting hard here. That their contours are visible through his clothes. If anyone asked me, I'd have to say that he had an extremely manly, strong body. In contrast to this air of strength that his body gave off, his eyes seemed to be doing a poor job of hiding his overwhelming sadness. The woman was crouching in front of the stove. Wrapped up in many layers of blankets like an empress in her robes, her hands grasped a steel cup. Her eyes were not on me, but staring aimlessly at the contents of the cup. However, it didn't seem as if she was avoiding eye contact intentionally. Her garments were covered by the blankets. I couldn't tell what she was wearing underneath. I could only see her dark brown high heels. I was just about to say, the shoes weren't well suited for a place like this. How did she get to be in high heels in this place? Her shoes weren't all that looked out of place. The woman with her hair in an updo gave off an air of calm sophistication. Would it be an exaggeration to say that she was from high society? Surrounded by the drum stove, the tin kettle, and the assorted timber, her appearance was particularly conspicuous. The man looked as if he was in his mid-30s, while the woman appeared to be in her late 20s. Of course, that was just my estimate. They could have been younger. Anyway, I thought it was clear that both of them were older than me. First off, Oh. Well, the girl looks like she's pretty worried. I'm gonna ask the guy what's up. Because the girl looks like, I don't know, she wants to be alone for a bit. Try talking to the man. Oh, hello, Bryce. More new people. That's awesome. Welcome to the stream. Excuse me? Oh, wow. Lots of little choices we have here. Where are we?
On a mountain.
Mountain. Okay, what mountain? That's obvious.
Yes, a snowy mountain in midwinter.
He answered somewhat casually. There should be more to it than that, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Oh, do they also not know? Huh. Were they also thrown in here? Did someone, gather them all here mysteriously for a reason? I wonder if they were also on the plane. He stroked his stubble. I held myself tighter as I trembled from the cold and meekly stepped toward the stove. Could it be that you don't know? You don't know where we are? Hello, AJ. Welcome to the stream.
ああ、知らない。
You're right. I don't know.
こっちの方が教えてもらいたいぐらいさ。
I was hoping you'd be able to tell me.
What did he mean by that? There's no way I could possibly figure out where we were. I just waited for him to go on.
それよりも大丈夫か？
More importantly, are you alright?
大丈夫って
What do you mean?
いや、そのなんというか、
No, how should I say this?
こんなことを言っては失礼かもしれないが、
What I'm about to say may be a bit rude,
君の様子は
but you...
He raised one of his eyebrows, drawing my eye momentarily before continuing.
普通じゃない。
You're acting kinda strange.
Huh?
怒らないでくれよ。
What is going on?
Don't be mad, okay?
君はさっきからずっと挙動不審な言動を続けて、
Interesting. I wonder if she and Satoru are switching their bodies constantly or something.
A while ago, you were saying all kinds of weird things.
突然わけのわからない言葉を発したり、暴れたり、叫んだり、独り言をぽつりとこぼしたり。
I'm feeling much better, AJ. Thank you.
All of a sudden, you started spouting nonsense, acting violently, screaming, and pausing for a long time when speaking.
かと思うと、今度は不意に塩らしい素振りを見せたりして。
And now you're all gentle and everything. What the fuck?
まあ、あの時の衝撃で精神的に相当なダメージを受けたのだとは思うが。
Well, with the shock from what happened, it wouldn't be surprising if you suffered a decent amount of mental damage, but
Yeah, I think she and Satoru are constantly like switching bodies, maybe.
あの時
A shock?
そうだ。
yeah,
飛行機が墜落した時のことだよ。
from the airplane crash.
I thought so. They're probably all on the same mountain. But in different spots. So they probably think she's dead because they didn't find her body. Crash. Did I already forget what had happened up until now? Reality and dreams were completely mixed up in my head as I tried to make sense of things. So that means that the building and the people I saw before must have all been part of a dream. And the crash. What happened to the other passengers? Was Uni saved? Although I couldn't be sure and felt a tinge of uneasiness. For some reason I wasn't really all that worried. Though I was still in a rather strange state of mind. I was definitely much calmer than the me in the dream. There was a mysterious feeling of confidence in me. Probably because you got your body back, Kokoro. A feeling that Uni was definitely alive somewhere.
やはりそうか。
So it's as I thought.
君は墜落の時のことを覚えていないんだね。
You don't remember the crash, do you?
いえそんなことありません
No, I don't think it's that.
ちゃんと覚えてますよ全部
I remember it, everything. I replied immediately. Surprised, he tilted his head.
覚えてる？本当に？
You do remember. Really?
ええ
Yep.
だけど君はさっき、
But earlier you...
Huh?
まあいいか。
Well, I guess it doesn't matter.
とにかく座りなさい。
Anyway, have a seat.
Crazy cat.
何か温かいものでも飲むかい？
Do you want me to get something warm? You want something... Do you want me to get you something warm to drink?
かなり長い間意識を失ってたからね。喉も渇いてるだろう。
You were unconscious for a long time. Your throat is probably dry.
He went over to the table and picked up a steel cup. Interesting, the sprites almost seem to be in a different style than the ones before. With one hand, he gestured for me to take a seat. I passed behind the woman who was wrapped up in the blankets and sat down at the table with my back to the wall.
どういうことですか?
Just what exactly did you mean?
何が?
What do I mean about what?
The man stood near the stove. He grabbed the tin kettle and poured some hot water into the cup.
私のこと挙動不審だって言ったじゃないですか.
You said I was acting oddly, didn't you?
言ったね.
Yeah, I said that.
仕方がないだろう. 事実なんだから.
It's the truth after all.
そういうことじゃないんです.
That's not quite what I mean.
理由を聞いてるんですよ、私は.
I'd like to know if there's any reason for it.
理由か.
A reason, huh?
説明してあげてもいいが.
I can try to explain.
その前にまずはこれを飲みなさい.
But first of all, drink up.
He placed the cup in front of me. I took a peek inside the cup and saw a reddish-orange liquid swaying lazily within.
何ですかこれ?
What is this?
カモミールティーだよ.
It's chamomile tea.
倉庫で見つけたやつだから賞味期限の保証はできないけどね.
I found it down in the storeroom, though I can't guarantee it'll be fresh.
He glanced briefly at a corner of the room. There was an open rectangular latch. The hole was right next to the door. There was a ladder there. I couldn't see inside from here, but that was most likely the storeroom right below us.
カモミールには鎮静作用があるんだ.
Chamomile has a tranquilizing effect.
なるほど。要するに気持ちを落ち着けろと。
I see. So, in other words, it'll calm me down.
ま、そういうことだね.
Well, something like that.
I wasn't particularly agitated or excited at anything. But it was true that my throat was dry, so there was no reason to refuse the offer. Just as he had suggested, I brought the cup to my lips.
でも、
But
美味しいかも。
it's kind of good. I know that most teas I don't like. I found for being a bit too bitter for me. But I know I have, because of that, I haven't had tea in a long time, and that I do try. I used to, before the pandemic, there's a store in Australia called T2, where they have all these teas that you could have just try. Like it's a whole store of so many different types of tea, and they used to have all these free samples, and some of them were really, really good. So I used to think I didn't like any tea. I just thought it was really bitter. But there are many teas that I do love. And I especially love chai teas, which are kind of like the borderline between teas and coffees. At least I think so. I have tried green tea. I think it's too bitter for me. But I do like matcha. A refreshingly gentle aroma similar to that of green apple tickled my nose. The hot liquid made its way down my throat, gently warming me to the core of my body. I'm alive again would be the expression that described the way I felt best.
よかった.
That's good.
Huh?
その笑顔のことだよ.
That smile of yours.
笑った君を見たのは初めてだからね.
It's the first time I've seen you smile.
Now that he mentioned it, my face did feel like it was smiling. It was a little embarrassing. Steam rising from the cup slipped into my nose as I started talking.
そういえば、まだ名前伺ってませんでしたよね。
Now that I think about it, you still haven't told me your name yet, have you?
名前?
Name.
ええ、あなたの名前です。
Yeah, your name. He sat down at the table across from me.
おい参ったな。
Does he not have a name or something? Did he forget his name?
Oh man, here we go again. It is Yubi Seiharu Karabatu with it.
さっき教えたばかりだろ。
Didn't I tell you my name just now?
さっき
Just now? Just now. What exactly was just now? I have no idea.
まあ忘れてしまったとしても無理もないか。
I guess it wouldn't be impossible for you to forget.
相当気が動転してるみたいだったからね。
You did seem pretty upset.
I didn't know what he meant by that. What in the world was he talking about? As I struggled to wrap my head around what he had said, the man reached into his jacket pocket and took out a pack of cigarettes, along with a silver lighter. He tapped a cigarette out of the pack and placed it in his mouth. He handled the lighter incredibly naturally, snapping it open with ease. After the crisp metallic sound faded, a red flame softly flickered into being. Carrying the flame close to the tip of the cigarette, he exhaled in a puff of purple smoke.
よもぎ誠治
Yomogi Seiji.
だ。よろしくな。
Nice to meet you.
Aww. He placed the cigarette in his left hand and extended the other to meet me in greeting. I gladly shook it. He's very nice. Oh, wow. Yeah, she is thirsting for this guy. His palm was so thick and rugged, it was as if it was made of rock. And then... Uh-oh. Suddenly a loud noise. Acting on instinct, I pulled my hand back defensively.
おいどうしたんだ大丈夫か
Oh, there's someone else outside.
Hey, what happened? You alright?
The man who had introduced himself as Yomogi shouted into the corner of the room. There in the corner was the square hole I had seen just a few moments ago.
大丈
Now, is this a young boy or is this a girl? This would be insane if it's Uni. Somehow. I'll see. I'll wait until I see what they look like before giving them a voice. Yeah, I'm all right.
夫ちょっと手滑らせちゃっただけだから
My hand just slipped a little. That's all. If it's a girl, I'm giving her the Erica voice because of that. A voice could be heard coming from inside the hole. It's Uni, isn't it? A familiar voice. It couldn't be. I shot up from my seat.
なんだまた例の発作じゃないだろうな。
If this is Uni, I have no idea what the fuck is going on. Honestly.
What's the matter? Are you having another one of your episodes?
I didn't have any time to answer. Before I could even think, my body had sprung into action. Clinging to the ladder, I glided down and descended the basement. Youth personality development. What does that mean? Uni! Wearing different clothing. Was that world a... What the fuck was that other world? So it's not... She's not going between two different places. It's like... two different timelines. One where she was dead and the other where she was alive? My premonition had been right, as I thought Uni was alive. He looked at me vacantly. Dozens of logs for the stove were scattered at his feet.
どうしたの
What's wrong? He asked with a surprisingly calm face. I slowly moved toward him. Oh my god. Sorry. Still have a tiny bit of a cough left. I stopped in front of him. Standing stiff as a rod, he looked up at me.
心
Kokoron,
心なの
are you Kokoron? How would he not know? His pupils widened as he blinked, muttering those words.
ユニ
Uni?
僕のこと覚えててくれたんだね
You remembered me. Oh my god. Oh, I'm so sorry, baby.
当たり前でしょ
Of course I do.
忘れるわけないじゃない
There's no way I could forget. Oh my god. Oh my god. Filled with joy, I embraced him tightly without a second thought.
また
Wait. Huh?
このままだと壊れちゃうかもしれないから
They might break like this. What are you talking about? Oh, his glasses. Saying that, Uni slowly removed his glasses. He placed his glasses on the shelf and then... Kokoron! Suddenly, with a voice as lovely as a girl's, he leaped into my arms.
会いたかったよ
He's supposed to have a girly voice? Okay. I was giving him like my young boyish voice, but okay. I missed you. I missed you.
会いたかったよ心
I missed you so much, Kokoro. Oh god. Oh baby. Uni aimlessly groped at my back. Oh. He rubbed his face against me, snuffling like a spoiled child. It's okay, baby. I cradled him closely in return. With all the strength in my arms, I squeezed him tighter and tighter. Oh god. This is the second time I've been reunited with this boy. But unlike the Uni from my dream, this one wasn't cold-hearted at all. Well, he wasn't being cold-hearted. He just thought you were a different person because you were in someone else's body. Uni had recognized me as myself. He greeted me as myself and confirmed me as myself. Just that was enough to make me feel very happy.
心僕言わなくちゃいけないことがあるんだ
Coconut, I have something I need to say.
何
What is it, sweetheart?
助けてくれてありがとう
Thank you for saving me.
もうお礼なんて言わなくていいって
Oh, you don't have to thank me.
私は何もしてないもん
I didn't do anything at all. Yes, I couldn't do anything at that time. I had only fastened his seatbelt and taken his hand in mine. If there was anyone to thank for our rescue, it could only be God. Rather than fate, it would seem more appropriate to call this a miracle from God.
でもとにかくありがとう
But still, thank you. I clung to Uni's body as though I'd never let him go. I put his head under my nose and filled my lungs with his scent. We're alive, the smell of his hair, the burning warmth of his skin. Alive, alive. Over and over again I repeated it in my mind. I trembled in joy as I stood witness to this miracle. After a while, I realized that my cheeks were wet. Small drops clinging to my lips were warmer than the chamomile tea I had just drunk. Oh. We stayed in our embrace for quite a while, long enough to lose track of time. Right then, my mind was completely void of the memories from my strange dream, with its grotesque script and frighteningly detailed scenery. But still, there was one thing that bothered me. I know why Uni is here. I think she needs confirmation of how she was acting beforehand. Because this does seem like Satoru was probably in her body in this world. I missed you. I missed you, Kokoro. The words that had come from Yuni's lips. Hello, Hollow Mirage. Welcome to the stream. It was as though something felt out of place. A suspicious feeling of dissatisfaction stirred my mind. What's going on? But even so, something as trifling as that didn't matter much now. Wait. What? No! No! What's going on? No. No. This sounds like I missed a flag or something. Oh god, this sounds like I made like an endgame choice in the beginning. Oh no. I hope Yuni isn't evil. Oh, fuck. With the end of the hug nowhere in sight, the little doubt that had sprouted in the corner of my mind slowly faded away. I'd forgotten everything, become intoxicated with its warmth as it continued to stoke in the happiness of our reunion. Uh-oh. CG. What's gonna go on here? Bad ending? I'm left-handed. When I use a pen, chopsticks, or scissors, I always hold them in my left hand. That's why I wear my watch on my non-dominant right wrist. That's because if I wore it on my left wrist, it would interfere with a variety of things. Of course, it's on my right wrist even now. What's going on? What's going on? Oh god. It was a wristwatch I had fancied and bought just the other day. The analog dial indicated that it was 9:37. The animus within the anima. The inside of the room was enveloped by the sad cry of the wind wailing outside. Other than that, besides the lid of the kettle rattling, not a sound could be heard. Not a single person opened their mouth. The heavy silence persisted. I do want to know who that other girl is. The cup placed in front of me was already empty. Chamomile tea had truly warmed my body and calmed my heart. I'd also gotten used to the feeling of sitting on hard wooden logs. I put my back up against the wall and observed the others. Yuni was sitting on the bunk bed, dangling his legs. His face showed boredom, but even like this, he was far more energetic than the Yuni from my dream. Yamogi had fixed his gaze on the window, observing the conditions outside. Smoke was slowly rising from the cigarette he held leisurely between his middle and index fingers. The woman, who was wrapped in numerous blankets, hadn't moved an inch from her spot in front of the stove. She flicked a stray lock of hair behind her ear. Is she like a princess or something? There was a lovely elegance to her actions, which, even though as a woman, drew my eyes with its coquettish charm. Ah, Destiny, you can swing both ways. Even after being thrown here in such a disordered state, she still took great care in keeping herself proper, from the angle of her fingers to the tilt of her neck. There were 4 of us inside the cabin, including myself. There was also one thing all the 4 of us had in common, and that was we were all unhurt. Of course, we could probably easily find 1 or 2 scratches or bruises on our bodies. However, no one had any serious injuries. Our bones were fine and all our insides seemed to be in place. It's not like I asked anyone directly, but that much was obvious from just observing the people around me. I don't remember a single thing about the crash, but I do know that the shock from it had to be tremendous. Yet here we are, alive and well. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. As I thought about it all, I couldn't help but think of the word miracle as well. Miracle. Yes.
Ah, come on, you can't do that. That's my thing.
Shut up, I can if I want to. What a wonder it was that we were all alive here like this. This room didn't have any electric lighting. Only the light of the lantern served to illuminate the hopeless air around us. The flame within it wavered, causing the shadows in the room to dance and sway along with it. Somehow it was a very illusory scene. Enchanted by the dubious flicker of the flame, I began to lose sight of the boundary between reality and fantasy. If the silence continued, I felt like I'd once again be consumed by that bizarre dream world. I would ask the girl her name. Anyway, it doesn't matter what it is, so somebody say something. So resolved, I decided to first. Damn, so many choices. I want to see what the girl's deal is. I tried speaking to the woman wrapped up in blankets.
あの
Silence.
聞こえてます？
Can you hear me? There was no reason she wouldn't be able to hear me. I was simply being ignored again. She had been so thoroughly ignoring me that it began to feel as if she was only doing it out of some sort of hostility toward me. Maybe Satoru did something weird. Oh, jeez. Yep. Oh, wow. Kokoro and I are always on the same page. It's crazy. Did I do something to leave her with a bad impression of me, perhaps? No, I don't remember doing anything like that, but summoning your body might have. I just met her recently and we hadn't even exchanged a single word. Or it was possible she was just that kind of person to begin with. Yep, that's also possible. It might be that she really wasn't a people person or something like that. With nothing else to do, I started talking to Yamogi.
ねえ、よもぎさん。
Hey, Yamogi-san?
Huh?
ここにいるのはこの4人で全部ですよね。
The four of us are the only ones here. Right?
ああ、そうだけど。
Yeah, I think so. Why do you ask?
それじゃあ、他の乗客の人たちは。
Then, the other passengers. Yamogi looked out the window and took a long drag on his cigarette. Slowly letting the smoke out, he wipes the white, cloudy window.
そうか。
That's right.
そういえば、まだ有機堂さんには話してなかったね。
Now that you mention it, I've yet to speak with you about it, Yukito-san.
I'm guessing that's the girl's name. Oh no. This is like a fucking Twilight Zone shit. Oh god. Yukito! Did I hear him wrong? An unfamiliar name suddenly entered my ears. Yamogi left the window and made his way to the center of the room. He took a square box from the shelf beside the bed.
もう一杯飲むだろ
You want some more tea?
長くなるからね。
This might take a while.
He prepared the chamomile tea while holding his cigarette between his lips. He poured us some tea. He put out a cigarette in the ashtray sitting on the table. then sat down in front of me.
さあ、何から話そうか。
Well then, where should I start?
有機堂さんはどこまで記憶があるんだっ
How far back can you remember, Yukido-san?
け？さっきは確か墜落の時のことは全部覚えてるって言ってたと思ったけど。
I'm pretty sure I recall you saying I remember everything about the crash.
Again, gonna use as a name I've never heard before. What is going on?
どうした？なんでそんなしかめっ面してるんだ？
Oh no.
What's wrong? Why are you frowning like that?
I straightened my posture and began to talk, looking intently at him.
話の前に一つだけいいですか？
Before we get into that, can I ask you something?
なんだ？
What is it?
有機堂って誰ですか？
Who is this Yukido? Please don't say me, please don't say me, please don't say me.
誰ってそれはもちろん
Who you say? But that's
君のことだよ。
your name.
God fucking damn it! I was astonished. Sighing deeply, I could feel myself starting to shake. Why? Why were things like this happening one after another? God, this is just a never-ending nightmare. I can't exactly say why I was angry, but there was no way I was just gonna bite my tongue. I raised my voice in protest.
私の名前は冬川心です。
I bet that Yukido is probably Satoru's name, I bet. And he said that when he was in her body. My name is Fuyukawa Kokoro, okay? Fucking hell. God. Really, I wonder how many times I would have to repeat myself like this. I'm tired of it already. Although the other times I said that phrase had been inside the dream, so oopsies.
冬川心？
Huh? Fuyukawa Kokoro.
そうです。冬川心です。
That's motherfucking right. Fuyukawa Kokoro!
学生証見せましょうか？それとも免許証の方がいいですか？
Should I show you my student ID? Or my driver's license, please, you better. Come on, I got all these forms of ID. I could practically apply for a fucking passport here. In fact, I should have my passport with me because I was on a fucking plane.
なんだったら今すぐ区役所行って戸籍謄本取ってきてもいいですけど。
Seriously, Kokoro, you and I are one of a kind. Are of a kind. For that matter, how about you go down to the local ward office right now so you can see official copy of my family fucking registry?
いや、すまん。
No. Sorry.
怒らせてしまったみたいだね。
It seems I've somehow made you angry.
だけど、有機堂というのは
Yep, okay, that was probably Satoru, yep, in her body. So the dead Satoru may be from this timeline.
But originally, the one who brought up the name Yukido was you, so...
Yamoki hesitated to speak. His gaze wavered around the room as he rubbed stubble on his chin.
まあいいか。
Well, whatever.
君がそこまで言うんなら、おそらくそうなんだろう。
It's probably true if you say so.
おそらくじゃなくて、そうなんです。
Not probably. It is true. It's my motherfucking name.
わかった。わかったよ。
Fine, fine, I got over it.
君の名前は冬川心。
Your name
間
is
違いないね。
Fuyukawa Kokoro, right?
はい。
Yes! I clearly asserted. And then,
待って。
I think I'll give her the French voice. Wait.
ちょっと待ってよ。
Just wait a second. The woman who had persistently preserved her silence until now finally opened her mouth. Throwing off her blankets, she delicately stands up and walks purposefully toward me.
あんたどういうつもり？
You, just what is your deal? She slams both her hands on the table. Bending forward, she brings her face up to mine. Her entire body gives off a ghastly aura, filling me with dread.
私の名前は冬川心
My name is Fuyukawa Kokoro.
じゃあなんでさっきは有機道なんて言ったのよ
Then why did you say it was Yukido before? I don't know what she's angry about, but the dreadful expression on her face leaves me unable to reply.
答えなさいよ何企んでんのよあんた
Answer me, just what are you plotting? Oh boy. I'm not plotting anything. Why does everybody think I'm some kind of criminal mastermind? God. Yeah. Kokoro, I think you and I are gonna get along just fine. Plotting. Now this was a word I remember hearing. Somehow it feels almost like a reenactment of my fucking dream. Saying I'm Fuyukawa Kokoro and having somebody angry because of that. It did rather resemble the dream. Then was that dream supposed to be some kind of premonition?
ねえちょっと聞いてんの人の話
Hey, you listening? I'm talking to you.
聞いてますよちゃんと
I'm listening. Really. Again.
さっきとは随分態度が違うのね
Your attitude sure has changed from before, hasn't it? Before. When they say befores, what do these people mean?
ねもう一度だけ聞くけど
Well, I'll ask you one more time.
なんであんなバカなこと言ったわけ
I better know what it is. Why did you say something so stupid?
バカなことって
Something so stupid.
とぼけないでよ
Don't pretend like you don't know.
あんたが有機道悟の名前を語ったことに決まってるでしょ
Called it! Okay, yep, they're switching bodies. They're switching bodies around. Oh my god, Boy Dweller, I didn't notice it before, but you're absolutely right. Obviously, when you're trying to trick us by saying you're Yukido Satoru.
だからその人は誰なんですか
Just who is that person?
白々しい演技はやめて
Stop it with the lousy act already. Act. Even though I'm not acting.
まあまあ落ち着けよ舞澄
No, calm down, Mayuzumi.
湯川さんが怖がってるじゃないか
You're scaring Fuyukawa-san.
あんた今なんて言った
Who? What did you just say?
眉澄って言ったわよね
Mayuzumi. You just called me Mayuzumi, didn't you?
気安く呼び捨てになんかしないでくれる何様のつもりなわけ
Yeah, she is some kind of royalty or something. Stop addressing me as if I were your pal. I'm not your pal, buddy. That's who you think you are.
じゃあなんて呼べばいいんだ
Well then, just what should I call you, Your Majesty?
りんちゃんか
Lin-chan, maybe?
てめえなめてんだろこのヒゲ親父
You're making fun of me, you unshaven old bastard!
私はちゃん付けで呼ばれるのが世界で一番嫌いなのよ
Being referred to with Chan is the thing I hate most in this world.
だったら2番目に嫌いなのは
And stop acting like a motherfucking tsundere. What's the thing you hate second most?
見ず知らずの他人に呼び捨てにされること
People I don't know calling me by my last name with no honorifics at all.
3番目は
He just fucking with her.
And what would number 3 be?
3番目はそうね
She's just going along with it. Oh my god, this is too funny. Oh my god. Let's see. Number 3 is let's see.
名前を間違って呼ばれることかしら
Being called by the wrong name, maybe.
リンなのにスズとか眉澄なのにカオルとか
Is he gonna ask what number 4 is? Like being called Suzu instead of Lin, or being called Kaoru instead of Mayuzumi.
そういえばいつだったかダイレクトメールにトンビって書いてあったことがあったわ。
She is getting completely sidetracked. Oh my god, she is actually hilarious. Interesting, so she has another name, possibly, that she doesn't like being called Kaoru Suzu? Or something? Now that you mention it, one time I got a direct mail addressed to someone named Tondi, written the same as Black Kite.
なんで我が家に届くわけ？人のこと勝手に猛禽類扱いしないでほしいわ。
Why did it arrive at my house? I wish people wouldn't suddenly decide that it's some bird of prey!
トンビだって。
Did you hear that? Toffee, she said.
いつか鷹が生まれるといいね。
It'd sure suit you to be reborn as a falcon, wouldn't it?
うるさい。ガキはすっ込んでろガキは。
Shut up. Brats like you should just get lost, brat!
なんだよその言い方。
Whoa, what's wrong with you?
ちょっと冗談言っただけなのにさ。
I was just joking around.
何よ。文句あんの？
What? Got a problem? I'll throw hands.
はあ、これだからばあさんは困るよな。
Are there two unis?
Huh.
You know what? I'll switch voices. I think I'll switch back to the other voice I had for uni.
This is why grannies are trouble.
Uni had probably gotten angry as he deliberately muttered the phrase at a volume just loud enough for it to be heard.
ばあさん？
Granny!
23歳の裏若き乙女を捕まえといて、ばあさんってどういうことよ、ばあさんって。
Oh my god, she's a lot funnier than I originally thought. There, do get off calling a lovely young maiden of 23 a granny! A granny! That's something to call collider.
ばあさんだからばあさんって言ったんだよ。この猛録ババ。
I called you a granny because you are a granny, you senile old hag.
てめえ。
You bastard!
ほら、目尻にカラスの足跡が浮かんでますよ。トビリンちゃん。 Look, you just got crow's feet all around your eyes, don't you, Tobeline-chan?
このクソガキやんのかこら。
Oh my god. You damn brat! You wanna go? Ha! Do you? I'll go. If you want to go, I'll get in a fist fight with a little kid, a 12-year-old brat. I don't care. I'll beat up a kid. We're in the middle of nowhere.
やらねえよ。
As if.
誰がお前みたいなババアとなんかやるもんか。
Who would have started a fight with an old lady like you? Hello, Bodif. Welcome to the stream.
もう完全にぶち切れちゃったわ。
And now you've done it.
スマキにして外に放り出してやろうかしら。
I wonder if I should just roll you up in a mat and throw you outside.
やれるもんならやってみろよ。星垣ババア。
Sure, if you can, you persimmon gobbling old hag.
上等じゃないのよ。このイソギンチャクメガネ。
You've got to do before I'd see an enemy.
こら、いい加減にしないか、二人とも。
Hello, Bodif and Seanbuster. Welcome to the stream.
Come on, cut it out, you two.
Yamogi, sick of watching their back and forth, decided to interfere and push the two apart.
ここがどこなのか忘れたわけじゃないだろう。
You haven't forgotten where we are, have you?
Well, you haven't even told us where we are.
こんなくだらないことで体力を消耗してどうする？
What are you gonna do if you waste all your strength on a pointless squabble like this?
でも
But
でもはなしだ。
No buts and no buts.
これ以上続けるつもりなら倉庫で寝てもらうことになるぞ。いいのか？
are they in a relationship or related or something?
If you carry on with this nonsense, you'll be sleeping in the storeroom. Are we clear?
I wonder, are they related? Yomogi lectured them in a surprisingly dignified tone. The two exchanged sharp glances, but restrained themselves from taking any further actions. Even those two couldn't do anything with Yomogi standing like a mountain between them. Neither really backing down, Uni and the woman both looked away and returned to their respective territories.
まったく。
Huh. Really now.
Yomogi sighed as he placed his hand on his hip. Before we knew it, we had lost track of our conversation, and the target of the woman's anger had completely changed. I was certainly glad to have gotten out of further questioning, but... Anyway, I was able to at least establish the woman's name. Mayuzumi Lin. Like a cat about to flee after a fight. She opened up her mouth to let out a last parting complaint. Her personality was almost the complete opposite of what I had imagined it would be based on her mature looks and graceful bearing. Yes, seriously. That's exactly what I was thinking too. The image of her I had in mind just a few moments earlier had been thoroughly revised. The woman had a rude, harsh, and uninhibited personality. By the way, Mayuzumi's questioning, though it had been brief, had implanted a lingering feeling of uneasiness in the corner of my mind. It's about Yukido Satoru. Why was I mistaken for this Yukido person, who I've never met before and know nothing about? First of all, just who is Yukido Satoru? It's probably that guy. In fact, it's gotta be. That and the words both Yomogi and Ms. Mayuzumi had said bothered me.
君はさっきからずっと挙動不審な言動を続けている。
I wonder if we're gonna get to play as Satoru.
A while ago, you were saying all kinds of weird things.
じゃあなんでさっきは有機道なんて言ったのよ。
Zenba, did you say it was Yukido before?
さっき教えたばかりだろ。
Didn't I just tell you my name just now?
さっきとは随分態度が違うのね。
Your attitude sure has changed from before, hasn't it? I knew that, but if I'm really sorry. I have the volume capture on as for the microphone as loud as it possibly can go. I don't know any way to make the microphone even more sensitive. I'm so sorry. I wish I knew what to do to make it capture it better, but yeah, this is the loudest this is the most gain I can get out of this microphone. It's a really good microphone too. I don't know why. Before replaying it all in my head, I finally arrived at an answer. Based on what they had said, only one conclusion could be reached. No, something like that just wasn't possible. I denied my own thoughts immediately. It was something that I couldn't believe, that I didn't want to believe. I do, Oe, and that's up to maximum. conclusion I had reached was simply too unreal to accept. That's why I turned away from it. I didn't want to think about it any further. I am me, Fuyukawa Kokoro. I'm no one else but me. Struggling to suppress my wild thoughts, I tried to convince myself of this. It was around 10 p.m. A large heap of blankets in hand, Mayuzumi climbed up onto the top bunk. Now there was a woman lying with her back towards us in more ways than one. The kind of person that would stay in bed just to show everyone how much she detested their company. I wasn't sure if she was really sleeping or not. She may have just had her eyes closed. In any case, without so much of a sorry or good night, the woman shut herself away in her own little world. Naturally, there wasn't anyone who bothered to ask her what she was up to. To tell the truth, I myself was a little relieved that the troublesome one had decided to settle down.
それじゃあ始めようか。
Well then, shall we begin?
As if prudently choosing his timing, Yamogi quietly opened his mouth.
その前に言っておきたいことがある。
There's something I'd like to say before I begin.
どうか気を落とさないでくれ。
Begin what?
Please, don't lose heart.
僕らはまだ望みを失ったわけじゃないんだ。
There's still hope.
He carefully chose his words as he continued solemnly.
HAL18 便。
Flight HAL-18.
それが僕らの乗っていた小型旅客機の正式名称だ。
Small passenger aircraft? Wasn't it like a standard airplane though?
That was the name of the small passenger aircraft we boarded.
飛行機は乗員乗客31名を乗せ、一路日本列島の最北端、稚内を目指していた。
The plane was carrying a total of 31 passengers and crew members on a non-stop journey to Wakkanai, one of a chain of islands in the north of Japan.
順調に飛行を続けていれば、午後5時には空港へと到着しているはずだった。
If flight conditions were favorable, we should have arrived at the airport at 5 p.m.
しかし、
But
Yeah, that doesn't look like a small plane. That looks like a normal sized plane. January 11th, 2011, 4:08 p.m. Flight HAL-18 crashed deep in the snowy mountains. I, who had regained consciousness after being thrown out of the plane, began my search and rescue efforts for survivors. A snowstorm was raging all around. Sunset was drawing near and I could barely see past my nose. Still, I didn't give up. The fact that I was all right meant that there had been had to be other survivors as well, I thought. It was not a feeling of obligation or sense of justice which kept me going. I was spurred on by some unexplainable instinct. Before long, I found two women among the scattered rubble. Mayuzumi Lin and Yu, having lost consciousness from the shock of the crash, they were laying beneath the caved-in ceiling, their head hanging limp. Even when I shook you by the shoulders and slapped your cheeks, you showed no sign of coming to. Mayuzumi, on the other hand, was conscious. She stood up on her own, mumbling something deliriously, and started aimlessly walking into the downpour of snow on her unsteady feet. The girl had most likely lost at least some of her sanity to the shock of the crash. Even when I called for her to stop, my voice didn't seem to reach her ears.
どうにか彼女を捕まえた僕はとにかく風だけでも防げる場所はないかと思い探し始めた。
Somehow I was able to catch her, and my very next thought was... Oh, it's back to his talking.
Somehow I was able to catch her, and my very next thought was I should find some more shelter from the wind.
見つかったのは前後が切断された機体の一部だった。
What I found was a section of the airframe, severed at the front and back.
黒く焼けただれた外壁、無様に露出した骨組み。
The outer wall burned black, unshapely exposed framework.
その姿はまるで朽ち果てた怪物の屍のように見えた。
It resembled the decaying corpse of a monster.
僕は舞泉の手を引き、君を背中に担いで屍の中へと逃げ込んだ。
Pulling Mayuzumi by the hand and carrying you over my shoulder, I entered the carcass seeking refuge.
Inside, a foul stench filled the air. Oh no. I suddenly realized that the smell was that of burning meat. There were chunks of charred flesh stuck firmly to the seats, which had been fixed to the floor. Oh god. Dead bodies were still seated with their heads against the backs of the seats in front of them. Some of the bodies were missing everything from the seatbelt down. There were bloodstains, scraps of flesh, and entrails splattered against the windows. My god. There was one corpse that seemed comparatively unharmed, but it stayed motionless, frozen solid like a plaster sculpture. The only word that could describe the disastrous scene was hell. Having taken it all in, Mayuzumi looked absent-minded and dazed. You were still unconscious, so you didn't react at all. However, a single sigh escaped your lips, which made me believe you'd surely get better with time. Your body temperature, however, was nearly that of a corpse. That made sense. You were wearing the same clothes you boarded the plane in. Of course, you weren't the only one with this problem. Mayuzumi was the same. She was wearing a suit and high heels, and her legs were only covered with a thin pair of stockings. Left like that, the two of you would have surely died. With this in mind, I looked through the melted baggage compartments in the ceiling of the plane in hopes of finding something useful among the luggage. I grabbed the bags that looked like they might have something helpful inside and pulled them down. I found a down jacket and a fur coat, a wool sweater, a muffler, and some gloves. I got together as many clothes like that I could find and dressed you two in them. He dressed them? Oh my god. Hello Delta, welcome to the stream. By the time I'd finished, the sun had disappeared behind the horizon.
月の光も星の光も動かない完全な暗闇。
With the light from the moon and the stars eaten up by the clouds and the snow, near perfect darkness enveloped us.
フライトアテンダントの座席のそばから懐中電灯を探り当てた。
I found a flashlight near the flight attendant's seat.
スイッチを入れた。一条の光が闇の中を照らし出した。
I turned it on and a streak of light pierced the darkness.
There were only two things to be done next. First, I had to make a shelter by closing off the open ends of the short airframe. Second, I had to find some means of communication to send out a distress signal. I didn't spare a thought for anything else. There might have been people still alive somewhere in the snowfield. However, the small pieces of wreckage had been scattered over a large area, which would have made further searching nearly impossible. And what about making our way down the mountain? Making our way down the mountain. In this state of affairs, that took precedence over anything else. As a mountaineer, I knew how terrifying and treacherous the snowy mountain could be. To start marching randomly inside a snowstorm is reckless at best. I didn't have a clue as to where we were. I didn't even know which way it was to the base, so I couldn't even think about descending the mountain. Base? What base is he talking about? Our options were very limited. We spent all night in bivouac, with nothing else to do but wait for the weather conditions to improve. Bivouac, a black mountain climbing term meaning to sleep outdoors, to pass the night at a location where there are no cabins or campgrounds. If they got better, a military or rescue helicopter would have no trouble finding us. Oh, he's talking about the base of the mountain. I see. Thank you, Bodif. I was thinking like there was like a base, like literally like a military base or like something by there. Is what he was talking about, I meant. Yeah, the base of the mountain would make sense. Of course, that'd be pointless if the three of us lost our lives before they arrived. That's why to live, that was the highest priority for us.
僕は早速作業に取り掛かった。
I immediately got to work.
機体にぽっかりと開いた大きな穴をかき集めた荷物やブランケットで塞いでいく。
I used our gathered luggage and blankets and such, stuff up the gaping holes in the airframe.
日が暮れてしまったことによって辺りの気温がみるみるうちに下がっていった。
The day had come to an end and the temperature started falling.
吐き出した息がたちまち凍りつくような温度。
It felt like soon get so cold that your breath would freeze instantly.
指先の感覚はとうに失っていたが、それでも僕は黙々と作業を続けたのだった。
I lost all feeling in my fingers, yet I continued working silently.
Well, that's dangerous.
ところが
However,
一つ目の穴を半分ばかり埋め終えた頃、僕はあることに気がついた。
as I was covering up one of the holes, I noticed something.
マイスミがいない。
My Izumi was gone.
どこを見渡してみても彼女の姿がなかった。
No matter where I looked, she was nowhere to be seen.
I rushed outside. Thick snowflakes began to fall and cling to me in layers, as if they had been eagerly waiting for their chance. I bent double to avoid this attack, pulling my hood close over my eyes, and began searching in the darkness. The piled up snow beneath my feet was immeasurably deep. But thanks to that, I could see the trail broken by my Izumi's rustling, though. Oh, to push through deep layers of snow. I did not know that. It's a mountain climbing term. With the torch in hand, I turned to find more traces. I could barely see a thing. In the middle of a snowstorm at night, the light of a pocket flashlight was almost useless, and I hate to say this in the middle of a scene, but I want to say it before I forget. Those of you watching may or may not know that AI The Somnium Files 2 was just announced, I think 2 days ago, which is pretty amazing. I like the first one, and I'd really love to play the second one when it comes out. So yeah, that's a thing that happened. Mizuki. Anyway, back to this game. Back to this Uchikochi game. If I tried calling out at the top of my lungs, the roaring of the wind would effortlessly drown out my voice. I couldn't waste another moment if I wanted to find her, as the traces that she had left behind were quickly being filled with snow. I jumped into the snow. My body began to move without a second thought. I pushed on, parting the fallen snow before me. Blinded by a myriad of snowflakes, I single-mindedly continued to pursue her trail. After marching on for about 10 minutes, I finally caught a glimpse of her. She had collapsed face down in the middle of a large snowfield. I had no idea why she would do something so foolish. Losing her cool and giving into panic, she may have thought it doesn't matter where I go, I just need to get away. Anyway, she had made her way here and probably collapsed from exhaustion. I brought my ear closer to her mouth. I could hear her breathing, just barely. I quickly put her on my back and started making my way along the path I had made coming here.
いくら体重の軽い女性とはいえ、人一人を背負ってのラッセルは想像を超えて過酷だった。
Even if I was only the body of a single-legged woman, trying to rustle through while carrying a person on my back was unthinkably difficult.
腰まで埋まるほどの新雪が僕らの行く手を阻んでいた。
Our path was hindered by the now hip-deep snow.
一足を踏み出すことさえ至難の技だった。
It had become virtually impossible to take another step forward.
そうしている間にも吹きつける地吹雪は容赦なく体温を奪っていった。
And when we stood still, the snow blowing up at us from the ground was mercilessly robbing us of our body heat.
四肢の感覚は完全に麻痺し、指先は太い針金のように凝固していた。
My limbs had become completely numb. My fingertips, if I could feel them, would probably have to feel like pieces of a thick, solid wire.
進める 周囲の景色が一向に変わる気配を見せなかった。
We pushed on, but the surrounding landscape didn't show any signs of change.
どこまで行っても呪われたように黒濁した空間が広がっているためだった。
No matter where we went, the darkness spread endlessly through the space around us like a curse.
Uh-oh. Oh, God. Before long, I lost sight of the path. The markers I had left behind had become buried by the snow and were indiscernible. My legs had become completely stuck. I couldn't take a single step further.
ここまでか。
So this is it.
I knelt down on the snow. I knew that this would happen from the moment I set out. If you walk out into a snowstorm, it's only natural for you to lose your way. But don't lose your way! That's what the song says. But even then, I never once thought of turning back. Why is that? It might have been that bringing back my Izumi was just an excuse, when in reality I wanted to meet my end here, really.
遅すぎたのさ。何もかも。
It's too late. Too late.
No matter where I looked, the desolate, barren plain was dyed the color of death. The world ruled by despair and emptiness was rejecting my life, and the act of breathing was regarded by as a sin. No matter where I looked, the desolate, barren plain was dyed the color of death. Oh, sorry, I'm rereading it now. God damn it. The sharp pain running through my entire body was a sure testament to that. With my Izumi still on my back, I collapsed in the middle of the snowfield.
待たせてすまなかったな。
Sorry for the long wait.
これでやっと。
Now I can finally join you.
お父さん。お父さん。
Oh, what is going on here? Dad? Dad? Right then, I thought I heard a voice. A voice I'd heard so often, but now thought I'd never hear it again.
お父さん。お父さん。
Dad? Dad? I knew it had to be an illusion. Faced with death, my consciousness was breaking down. Felt like it was the voice of a spirit come to haunt me. However, I couldn't help but try to confirm it. Having gathered the remainder of my strength, I strained my throat and raised my nearly frozen body to his unsteady feet.
純一なのか。
Oh, he knows these people.
Junichi. Junichi, is that you?
お父さん、こっち。こっちだよ。
Oh God. Oh no. Is his son dead in the crash? Oh God. Dad, here.
こっちに山小屋があるんだ。見つけたんだよ。
Wait. There's a fountain cup in here. I found it. When I snapped out of it, I saw a boy standing in front of me. It was the boy I happened to catch a glimpse of on the plane.
僕についてきて。
Why is he calling him Dad? Follow me. Saying this, the boy started walking. I gave my head a good shake, which somehow brought my strained consciousness back into focus. The boy wasn't my son. Okay, I was wondering. So the son was not on the plane with him, I'm guessing. That's how I was sure it wasn't just my delusion or some mysterious phantom, but a definite real entity with a solid shape and form.
何ボケっと突っ立ってんだよ。
What are you standing around for?
山小屋はすぐそこなんだ。だから早く。
The mountain cabin is right over there. Hurry up! I once again lifted Mayuzumi onto my shoulders. With the boy in front of me as a guide, I started walking forward. And then... Here we go.
7:16 p.m.
墜落から3時間を経て、僕らはようやくこの小屋へとたどり着いた。
Such a mysterious place. That's exactly what I was about to say, Relast. Wow.
3 hours after the crash, we finally reached this mountain cabin.
言うまでもなく、僕らを導いてくれた少年とはユニのことだ。
It goes without saying that the boy who guided us here was Uni.
あの時ユニが来てくれなければ、僕と眉泉は今頃冷たい雪の下で眠っていたことだろう。
If Uni hadn't come, then right now Mayuzumi and I would probably be peacefully enjoying our final sleep under that snow.
いわばユニは僕らにとっての命の恩人だった。
You could certainly say that Uni was our savior.
残念ながら当時意識を失っていた眉泉にはその実感がないようだけれど。
It's unfortunate that Mayuzumi, being unconscious at the time, still doesn't seem to understand this.
これがここに至るまでの経緯だ。
So that's pretty much everything that happened until now.
理解してもらえたかな。
Did you get all that?
With those words, Yomogi tried to finish off his long speech. But...
ちょっと待ってください。
Wait a second!
Huh?
私はその後どうなったんですか？
Exactly. What about me? What happened to me after you let me there? Wanting to tie up all the loose ends, I asked him again. Yomogi smiled ever so slightly.
もちろん助けに行ったさ。
Of course, we went back for you.
ユニにも手伝ってもらってね。
Uni gave me a hand as well.
あの輪切りになった機体の中から君をここまで搬送したんだ。
We brought you back here from the shore and open airframe.
正直言って楽な作業ではなかったよ。
Honestly speaking, it wasn't easy.
今は元気そうに見えるかもしれないけれど、あの時の僕はほとんどくたばりかけた状態だったからね。
I may seem pretty energetic now, but back then I was on the verge of collapsing myself.
でもどうして機体の位置が分かったんですか？
But then how did you find the hull?
よもぎさん、道に迷っちゃったんでしょ？
You said you got lost, didn't you?
ユニが知ってたんだ。
Uni knew the way.
ユニが？
Uni did? Yeah, he's probably some kind of Blickwinkle thing. I turned towards Uni. Behind Yomogi, Uni was sitting in the spot where Mayuzumi had been camped out until shortly before. As his back is to me, I can't see his face. I didn't know whether or not he'd been listening to our conversation earlier.
なんでユニが墜落機の場所を？
How did Uni know where the airframe was?
彼はコンパスを持っていたんだ。
He had a compass on him.
コンパスって方位磁石のことですよね。
A compass? As in the magnet you used to tell it direction.
ああ、
Yeah.
墜落の衝撃によって機外へと放り出されたユニはある一定の方角に向かって歩き始めたらしいんだ。
Uni, who had been thrown out of the plane, had immediately started walking in a straight line away from the crash site using his compass.
あの状況においては適切な判断だったと思うよ。
I think it was a sound judgment, all things considered.
何しろ周りには風を遮る場所さえなかったんだからね。
Seeing as how there was no place that would shelter him from the wind.
その場にうずくまっていれば誰かが助けに来てくれるというような状況でもなかったわけだし。
And it wasn't a situation where help would arrive if he just stayed still and waited.
だから彼は歩き始めたんだ。
That's why he began walking.
と言ってもデタラメな方向に向かって闇雲に進んでいったというわけではない。
Of course, he didn't just wander around.
ピンと目標地点を定め歩数を測りながら彼は吹雪の中を歩いたんだ。
Properly confirming the position of his destination and the number of steps, he started walking in the snowstorm.
そうすればその方角に何もないと分かった時元の地点に引き返すことができるだろう。
If he found nothing in the direction he was heading, he could simply go back to where he started.
大したもんだよ。
He sure is something.
とても11歳とは思えない判断力だ。
His judgment isn't like that of an 11-year-old's at all.
ユニはプロの登山家である僕なんかよりもよっぽど冷静だったってわけさ。
Uni showed admirable composure, even more than that of a seasoned mountaineer like me.
A weird feeling of suspicion, perhaps, started welling up inside me. I would be suspicious too. I found myself unable to blindly admire Uni's efforts. Things like Uni conveniently having a compass and not losing his cool after the shock of the crash. If you put it all together, you couldn't help but think there was something unusual going on.
まあとにかくそんなわけでユニは偶然この避難小屋を発見するに至ったんだ。
Well, anyway, searching around like that, Uni coincidentally discovered the shelter cabin.
ここで重要なのは彼が自分の歩んできた方角とここにたどり着くまでの歩数をちゃんと覚えていたということだ。
What's important is that he remembered the direction he had walked in, along with the number of steps he took to arrive here.
だからこそ僕らは
And that's why we,
私が取り残されていた墜落機の場所を特定できた。そういうことですか？
You were able to find the crash site where it had been left behind, is that it?
何か気になることでも
is something bothering you?
いえ、別に。
No, not really. I said that, but in reality, innumerable things were still bothering me. In today's conversation, nobody had mentioned even once how Uni had managed to find Himogi and Maizumi. Moreover, even if it were possible to Uni to return to his own starting point, that didn't necessarily mean that I was easy to find again. Again amongst the snow. Think of the probability of all these occurrences. Seems like even the word miracle would have been an understatement to describe all that had happened. It felt like the work of some invisible power, like we might have been led to this cabin inevitably. An invisible power. What it could be, I have no idea.
そうですか。
I see. I murmured as I brought the cup closer to my lips. Chamomile tea itself had become cold by now.
そうだ。
Ah, that's right.
大事なこと言い忘れてましたね。
I forgot to say something important, didn't I? Once it hit me, I lowered my head. Wiping my lips and correcting my posture, I spoke.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you.
Huh?
お礼ですよ。
I'm showing my gratitude.
助けてくれて本当にありがとう。
Thank you very much for saving me.
やめてくれよ。そういうのは苦手なんだ。
Hey, cut it out. I'm not good with heartfelt thanks and stuff.
それに俺なら彼に言った方がいいんじゃないか
Besides, if you want to express your gratitude, shouldn't it be to him?
Yomogi stuck out his thumb and pointed it towards Uni, who was sitting behind him. I stood up and went closer to Uni. Uni had curled up into a ball in front of the stove. The way he held his head made it difficult for me to reach his face. I squatted down beside him and spoke.
ユニ
Uni?
ユニ
Uni? Uni didn't reply. Leaning down, I lightly shook him by the shoulder. I took a peek at his face. Crouched in place, Uni was breathing evenly in his sleep.
ユニありがとう
Thank you, Uni. I said in a soft voice. In reality, I feel like I wanted to hug him from behind and roll around with him on the floor. I was overwhelmed with a feeling of gratitude, one that could not be conveyed by thousands or even tens of thousands of words. Oh my god. That's why we're alive right now, is all thanks to that man. That we're alive right now. Uni and Yomogi. I gently embraced Uni's body and laid him down on the bottom bunk. I placed several blankets on top of him, and then a few more for good measure. I love how she wants to take care of Uni so much. Uni tossed a bit in his sleep as he mumbled something. I quietly removed his glasses.
さてと
Now then. Holding Uni's glasses in my hand, I wander aimlessly around the cabin. The emotions welling up inside me. Seeking an outlet or driving me to walk around in circles. This is a passionate feeling of gratitude. I need to convey it somewhere, somehow. But who? Oh, she's showing herself, I see. Well, of course. Oh, wow. I knew it. Did I call it or did I fucking call it? Yomogi-san. Hello. With an almost indecent cry. Yeah, seriously. Yomogi-san. I jumped onto Yomogi's back without warning. My god.
Whoa!
Damn, she is not wasting time. Holy fuck. Her limbs entangling, we tumbled, rolling around on the floor.
ヨモギさん
Yomogi-san. Oh, sorry.
おいこらどうしたんだ
What is going on?
Hey, come on, what's gotten into you?
やめろ冬川やめろやめてくれやめてくれ
Stop it. Fuyakawa, stop it. Please stop. Come on, stop.
やめないもんね
I won't stop. I won't stop.
意味がわかんねえんだよなんなんだよこれはなんなんだよなんなんだよ
Just what are you trying to do? What's got into you? What is the meaning of
意
this?
味なんかないのいわゆる感情表現ってやつ
There is no meaning. I'm just expressing my feelings.
感情表現
Expressing your feelings.
おい早まるな冬川僕らはまだそういう関係じゃないだろ
Yet. Yet. Oh wow, so he's into her too.
Hey now, don't be hasty for your call. We're not in that kind of relationship yet, you know? We have to trigger some more flags.
薄くて破れないやつも今は持ち合わせてないし。
Even tough guys like me can't take this kind of wear and tear.
そんなのいらないの。
Oh, cut it out. We could die at any moment.
ゴロゴロンゴロゴロン。
Roll, 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 roll. Oops. God damn it. I clicked something else.
ハグハグハグハグ。
Oh my god. Hug, 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 hug. My expression of feelings continued for a while afterward. This CG always makes me so nervous. This little animation here of the flame. I swear, I don't know why, but I swear it just does. Falling into autism? What the fuck? That's a weird song name.
Have you calmed down?
はい。
Yes. After my outburst ended, I felt embarrassed right away. I would too. It was a little awkward. Yamogi stared at the wall, seemingly half shy and half shocked. Inside the cabin, the silence continued. I drank the last of the chamomile tea, found myself with nothing else to do.
抱きつき禁止。
Clinging is prohibited.
Perhaps he was the type to hold a grudge.
そうじゃなくて、
That's not it.
Huh?
どうするんですか？これから。
What are we gonna do from now on?
どうするって。
What you say?
ずっとこの小屋にいるわけにいかないでしょ。
Not like we can stay in this cabin forever, right?
何かいい方法ありますよね。よもぎさん、プロの登山家なんだし。
You must have some good ideas, right? You're a pro mountain climber after all, Yamogi-san. Yamogi shrugged his
こ
shoulders.
こがどこかわからないんですか？
Do you know where we are?
前に来たことのある山とか。
For example, a mountain that you visited in the past.
そんな偶然があればいいんだが、残念ながらあの吹雪じゃ場所の特定は。
I'd be happy if a coincidence like that happened. But unfortunately, in the snowstorm, finding out the specific location was...
そうですよね。
That's right.
この小屋には何かないんですか？地図とか。
Isn't there anything we can use in this cabin? Like a map?
散々探したよ。
I've already searched everywhere.
I was at a loss. I was happy before, but a situation might be even more hopeless than I imagined. I searched in my pocket for anything that might serve as a clue. All I found was a voice recorder, VR. Jeez. That seems a rather convenient thing to have. Oh, yeah, because she's a journalist. I mean, not a journalist, she's taking notes. I guess that was to be expected. After all, if something I've been carrying had turned out to be a clue about the cabin, it'd just be scary. Playback display only reads data 1 and data 2. She can use this to talk to Satoru, to leave a message for Satoru. And maybe Satoru left a message for her. Having recorded data 1 myself, I already knew what was on it, but I played it back even so.
やーちゃいか。
Oh yeah, that's right, she speaks Russian.
私はカモメ。
I'm a seagull.
これは世界初の女性宇宙飛行士ワレンチナ・テレシコワの言葉だ。
Oh yeah, that's right. This is what she said in the very beginning. These were the words uttered by the first woman in space, Valentina Tereshkova.
旧ソ連の宇宙船ボストーク6号に乗り込んだ彼女は一人完全な静寂と虚無に支配された宇宙空間を漂いながら
all alone aboard the former Soviet Union spaceship Vostok 6, floating in the void of space, place of complete silence and emptiness. It was my voice, although that was obvious. And then Yomogi took out something that appeared to be a machine from his breast pocket. While continuously staring at it, he shook his head slightly and laid it on the table. At first, I thought it was a wristwatch, but it was a little bigger than an ordinary watch. It also had so many different attachments that it looked like it would be cumbersome. It looks like a James Bond watch. Or as like one of those old-fashioned smartwatches, I guess. Was it some kind of computer terminal? The liquid crystal display was showing figures I didn't know the meaning of.
なんです？
What's that?
GPS。まあ簡単に言えば今いる場所の座標を表示してくれる機械かな。
Oh, well, there you go.
A GPS. Well, simply put, it's a device that shows the coordinates of our current position.
すごいじゃないですか。
Huh? Isn't that great?
使えればね。
It would be if it worked.
ということは
Meaning...
壊れてる。
Things busted.
God damn it. Heartbroken, I dropped my shoulders.
多分墜落のショックで行かれたんだろう。動くことは動くけどな。でたらめな座標ばっかり表示してるんだ。
The shock of the crash was probably what did it in. It isn't completely broken, but it only displays messed up coordinates.
直したりとかは
As for fixing it...
できるならとっくにやってるよ。
If I could do that, I would have a while ago.
ああ、結構高かったんだけどな。
Oh, and this thing was pretty expensive too.
Yomogi let out a sigh. He sat back down in the chair. I wish he wouldn't thoughtlessly show me broken and useless things. The momentary hope I'd had caused my despair to return stronger than ever. My tongue sharpened with disappointment. I began to murmur sarcastically.
なんでそんなもの持ってるんですか？
And then why are you still holding on to something like that?
つい癖でね。いつも持ち歩いてたからな。
That's an old habit. I'm always carrying it around after all.
Yomogi looked at it with a bitter smile as I tilted my head. What a weird old guy. A normal person wouldn't carry something like that around.
まあ、場所については僕もあれこれ考えていたんだが。
Well, as to our location, I considered a few things.
Yes?
墜落する前までの状況を思い出してみたんだ。
I've tried to remember the situation before the crash.
羽田を飛び立ってから墜落するまで2時間は経ってなかったと思う。
I don't think 2 hours passed from the time we took off from Haneda to the crash.
1時間から1時間半くらいですね。
It was about 1 to 1.5 hours, right?
飛行ルートから推測すればここは東北の山の中って可能性が高い。
If I were to guess from the flight's course, I'd say there's a high chance that we're on a mountain in Tohoku.
青森、秋田、岩手。そんなところだろう。
Aomori, Akita, Iwate. Most likely somewhere around there.
It's no good. That's too vague.
空気が薄いから標高は高いと思う。
The air is thin, so I think we're pretty high up.
救助が来るのはしばらく時間がかかるかもしれない。
It'll probably take a while for our rescuers to arrive.
After saying that, Yomogi smiled as if to comfort me.
そう、心配するな。
Hey, don't worry.
小屋があるってことは、ここは人が来る場所ってことなんだ。
The fact that there's a cabin, it means there's a place where people come.
Hearing that, I mustered a thin smile in return. Of course, I wasn't reassured by what Yamoki said, as I thought the situation was pretty bad.
本当にここ日本なんでしょうか？
Is this place really in Japan? Why wouldn't it be?
変なこと言うな。なんでそんなこと？
That's an odd thing to say. Why do you ask?
なんだか現実じゃないみたいで。
Somehow it feels like this isn't reality.
都会暮らしのお嬢さんじゃそう思うのも無理ないかもな。
For a lady from the big city, it's not odd that you think that.
Hearing a slightly teasing tone angered me just a little. In that case, it was like I was totally helpless by myself, wasn't it?
ここがどこか僕知ってるよ。
Okay, boy genius, tell us where it is.
I know where this place is.
Uni slowly got up from the bed. Though he still seemed partly asleep, he spoke with conviction as he rose.
赤倉岳って言うんだ。
It's called Mount Akakura. And I think with that, what a weird ass chapter name. I think that this is a nice place to stop for now, as Uni is about to explain where the fuck we are. I see we're on Kokoro chapter, so there's probably a Satoru chapter later on. I think that's a nice cliffhanger to leave for next time, wouldn't you say? I don't know why my voice is like rasping up like this. But until next time, which should be on Tuesday. And of course, we have more Rose Gun Days on Sunday. We'll pick up right here. I can't wait to see what's going on. Until next time, I will say, so long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, good night. You are all the sweetest of hearts. See ya.